welcome to the April meeting of the Palm Springs International Airport Commission. Has the posting agenda occurred, Mr. Smith?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman, last Thursday.
Thank you. Marjorie, would you call the roll, please?
Gazelle.
Here.
Bosworth.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Shield.
Here.
Drysky's excused. Engelhardt.
Here.
Duncan. Friedman.
Here.
Leaders.
Here.
Lovett.
Here.
McLaughlin will be about 10 minutes late. Sherman.
Here.
Miller is excused. Sisson.
Here.
Spicer.
Here.
Tavel.
Present.
And Tyler.
Here.
The roll's been called.
Thank you, Marjorie. Approval of the minutes of the March 5th meeting. So moved. Seconded. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oops, I saw a finger for a comment. Is that true? Bill?
Yeah, on page
Fortunately, I have our school teacher with us.
page 7.
Trying to get by.
That insert in the middle of the page, I think the last word, the next to last sentence should be above rather than about the elevation airport.
Thank you.
And it makes sense of that.
Right there.
I did read it.
Yeah, you did. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. All right, all those in favor as corrected?
Aye.
Those who oppose, forget it. Public comments. This is the period of time when the public has 3 minutes to comment on any issue that's relevant to the airport. It is a 3-minute limit, and we will be glad to listen to your comments. If you're part of our presentation, you can wait until that time. Right, Tom, welcome aboard. If there are seeing no comments from the public, we'll move to introductions. Barry?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. This morning I would like to recognize one of our members in the audience, a guest, and his wife. Mr. Billy F. Ballman and his wife Barbara are here this morning, and I passed out a letter that many of you saw. Mr. Ballman is a well-known artist here in the desert, and his expertise is he captures historical events. And if you'll look up above me, you'll see a very historical event. We are commemorating the 100th year of flight here at the airport. As you know, we have banners along the roadways entering the airport, and Mr. Ballman was kind enough to donate to the airport, and we think it fits right nicely here in the airport conference room, and we just wanted to recognize him this morning and thank him for that.
That's very kind. Thank you very much.
Would you like to say something, Mr. Ballman?
You get a moment. 3 minutes.
Don't say you were there in person, though.
I used to fly into this airport 40 years ago. It sure changed from that time. Well, I just wanted to find a new home for the painting. Offered it to Barry, and very graciously accepted it, and I'm extremely pleased that it's going to hang in a nice place. Barbara and I will leave pretty soon after you get into your business. I see that you're probably going to have a debate on the lowest bidder, which reminds me of when Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Colin were sitting on top of a rocket ready to be fired off to the moon. One of them remarked just that this thing has got over 1 million parts in it. And someone else said, yeah, and just think, they were all made by the lowest bidder.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
Jumps and run.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Action business items, number 1.
Mr. Chairman, what we would recommend is, since there's quite a few people here on the second item, that
Okay,
we skip
let's
to
do it.
item number 2 and let that occur first, and then we'll go
Absolutely.
back to the first
Okay.
item.
Item number 2, Palm Springs Classic Project.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Today we're pleased to have a number of guests with us, both from our planning department and the developers that are representing the Palm Springs Classic Project. Many of you are probably familiar with this project as it's been around say, what, 30 years or so? But finally, I think the right group has come together that's going to make it happen. I just want to introduce the members of the team, Pat Blue and Ken Carey and Marvin Roos and Ken Feenstra.
Put your hands up when it calls next so we know who. Okay.
Pat will give a brief presentation here in a moment. The items, though, that I wanted to make you familiar with are the items that definitely affect the airport, since they are right next door. We are concerned about some of the noise levels, and we have asked them to require the homeowners sign navigation easements and non-suit covenants, which they have agreed to do. We've also asked them to look at, of course, building to Title 24 standards and possibly utilize acoustical sound insulation properties so that they'll have similar sound insulation characteristics as a home on the north ends in the residential sound insulation program. There is also a hotel site that they will show you being proposed, and it's rather high off the ground. We've also asked them to file a 7460 with the FAA regarding this proposed construction, just to ensure there's no problem with any aerospace issues. They will also be utilizing various ponds on the property on the golf course, and we know that attracts wildlife, so we're working with them in the development of wildlife hazard plan. And the final item is still under negotiation. We're working on a signalized intersection near the SkyWest maintenance facility for the entrance into that property. So there are some drawings on the board, hopefully you can see, and with that I'll turn it over to Pat Blue, who will tell you more about the project.
Pat, welcome. Thank you.
I was going to tell you all these very nice things that we were going to cooperate with you on, and now Barry said them all, so I don't even have to talk.
Just say yes, we're cooperating.
First, let me tell you a little bit about what we're with this project. This project actually hasn't been around 30. I think it's been 15. It just seems like 30. Originally, the original plan showed 27 holes of golf and a hotel and a bunch of timeshare units. And we've changed that somewhat, and what we're planning is a 18-hole golf course, about, give or take, some 1,400 houses, single family and multifamily, and possibly at some point a hotel. The golf course, the land plan has been done by a group out of Orange County called Forma, which is an internationally known land planning firm. I think it's done a wonderful job. The golf course, we're trying to design a high-quality championship-type golf course. It's being done by a fellow named Todd Eckenrode, Origins Golf Design. The golf course, if some of you are golfers, if you've ever played the new course at Verona Creek down near San Diego, he designed that. I think that course is now the number 4 golf course in California, behind Pebble Beach and Spyglass and one other golf course. So we're hoping to get a very nice golf course here. We're going to have 2 entrances. One is up on Vista Chino and one down off Gene Autry. As Barry mentioned too, the one here we're proposing is just at the edge of the Hush House, or the SkyWest is kind of right here. And we've been working with Barry to come up with a signalized interchange that would work for the airport in the future, should you ever want to use it, and yet not in any way hurt the use the SkyWest is and their access. And I think we've got a plan that I think will accomplish that. So hopefully that we can get that issue resolved. Barry mentioned noise. I think that our fear is less from the airport. We actually think there's more noise from the noise study that we've done. It actually comes from Gene Autry. And so there'll probably be sound buffers there, berms, maybe walls, whatever we have to do to protect these residents along here from both the street noise and the airport noise. The height issue that Barry mentioned, probably more of our density will be up here, or higher density, and possibly the hotel. and, which is quite a ways away from the runway when you get up here. So hopefully that's something that can get resolved without a whole lot of issue. And we're happy to go through the process that Barry has suggested to get that approved. Probably the interesting one to us is the bird problem, and we have all kinds of ideas as to how to cure that, but we will work closely with the airport to make sure that we've got a plan in place to mitigate any bird problems and make sure that whatever water features we have aren't causing a problem to the airport. With that, if I could answer any questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to answer any. And yes.
You extend into the Washington a couple of holes over there?
Well, what we've done, this is the levee that goes right here. Cimarron Golf Course is down here, and currently what we're doing is putting a driving range out in the wash. We'll be kind of going over the levee, and our eventual plan that isn't shown on here, we're concerned that if we are able to get a hotel to come here, that when you combine this community along with the hotel use of the golf course, that we've got too many people trying to play on this course. So we're working with CVWD right now to get control of all of the land out here in the wash, so if we ever need to, we can build another 9 holes. So, and I think that probably would end up making most of this grass instead of dust, which probably would make at least some people happy in the neighborhood. Yes?
How many water holes do we have in that course?
Well, that's still up for debate, but
Well, that would be a big concern for me because birds flock the water. If you're that close to the runway, we may have a problem.
We understand that problem and have been talking with and are in the process of putting together a plan to be sure that we have a plan acceptable to the airport that will keep that from being a problem. Yes?
Are you using reclaimed water on your golf course?
Part of the original approval for this project, when it was approved in 1994, was to actually, we would pay to bring the tertiary water pipe up from the plant. And in the meantime, it's actually gotten built a little way. So part of this project is to extend that pipe up in this area so that you'll be able to get secondary water to water the course, and also make it available for some of the other courses up here to maybe Cimarron will use it, maybe Desert Princess could use it. So we're kind of the guys that looks like get to foot that bill. Yes?
These agreements that the people are signing about noise, 15, 20 years from now, when the airport gets really bigger, have a lot more air flights, have those agreements passed the test of time and a legal test that they can't decide to change their mind 20 years from now and say it's too noisy from the airport?
Alan, you want
We
to
can jump in on that. There are agreements, and they're written to tell people just exactly what you said.
Okay.
And yes, there are agreements that will be used.
And they're recorded in the deed and everything?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And they would be part of the Department of Real Estate documentation also, so that part of the DRE's requirement would be each one of these people would have to see it and sign it and be part of the DRE package. So I think at this point it's
No loopholes.
a problem that's been around a long enough time that I'm sure that there's documentation that everybody would find enforceable.
You think that'll be a deterrent to potential homeowners?
You know, I've been out on this site enough. We've got, for instance, we've got the golf course staked out there, and I've walked all around it. And when you look at your options in Palm Springs of where you can live with let's call it a reasonably priced golf course community, I think people will find the airport a minor inconvenienced if that. The air noise over there just isn't that bad.
It is on the side, and that side noise is pretty low.
I mean, the only real noise that I've heard of is I mean, every once in a while I hear something from the Sky West, but it's every once in a while a small little, I mean, a single engine plane takes off and they're the noisiest ones. The jets are not really much of an issue over there.
Other questions, Gary?
That is true in terms of jet noise. The smaller aircraft in the traffic pattern tend to fly right over that area now on the downwind, taking up base Germany and so forth. I'm concerned about the bird issue again now. The idea of having, you as a developer would say you're going to have, say, somebody hired to chase birds all day or whatever, but 20 years down the road when it's turned over to the association, you guys are out of there, what kind of plan would that be? See what I mean?
I just think open season on ducks.
I think what ends up happening in a lot of homeowners associations that I've been involved with, it's very important on the front end to make sure that the requirement is a part of the association documentation. Everybody knows about it. It's written. It's a very firm agreement that they've got to perform that service. And what probably ends up happening even is it depends how you set up the golf course with the homeowners association, but the people that are really going to run that are the golf course people, and try and keep the homeowners association, although it's a requirement and they're a party to it and they have to make sure it happens. It's really going to be the golf course operator who is going to be responsible for doing it. And a golf course with this kind of quality, you're going to end up with a very qualified manager, and if they want to be in business, they better make sure that plan happens.
Are these homes going to be priced in the mid-range, or are they going to be above or below?
I would call them, in comparison to some of the higher end ones, this is not meant to be the reserve or a very high end project. It's meant to be in a much more affordable price range, but a very nice golf course. So I could give you a price range. I mean, let's say, $200,000 to $500,000 or $600,000, something in that price range. We haven't really 100% determined that, but it's not going to be a very expensive project.
All right, Ed, question?
The hotels, are you negotiating with somebody to bring a hotel in there?
We have talked to people. It's been very difficult. It's kind of which comes first. And if you took this site and said, hotel, come to this site, there's nothing to make them come to this site. Mm-hmm. Once you build a beautiful golf course and a beautiful environment, will somebody come to this site? We have talked to several hotels who have expressed an interest, but talk is cheap, and there hasn't been many hotels built in the valley in a number of years. So
How many timeshares?
right now, we're not really kind of working at that market. It's not something that we're really putting a lot of faith in.
Predominantly single-family homes?
No, a combination of single-family and multifamily, so it could be townhouses, could be condominiums. One of the issues that you have in a community like this, if you want it to be all single-family homes, those homes, in order to pay for the golf course and all the infrastructure, those houses become more and more expensive. And so you try and combine, you end up with a little more density to try and keep those prices down into a more affordable price range. So we're probably going the direction of trying to keep it a little more affordable, and which probably requires a little more density.
Any other questions? We do need to move on. Larry?
Just kind of a point of order here. I'm seeing a list of conditions here. And
Right.
This commission is advisory.
clarify, is our working assumption that if we recommend approval of this, this will end up as the conditions of approval?
I don't think that we're just going, this is really a briefing for us to understand what's going on. I think they will bring it back once they've worked out the nuts and bolts of the problems. We're not approving this today or not approving it.
That was really my
But they
question.
want
What's our
input.
role in this?
They want input as to what we think, where we think there are problems. The bird thing is a bit of a problem. I have a little concern about this entrance, but I think that can be worked out. But they wanted to know how, as a commission, as an airport, we felt about it before they went headlong into some process.
That
So
was
this is
fair
sort of
to
a
me.
general discussion for 15 minutes, well, now 2 more minutes. So you have some understanding and they have some feedback from us. Ken?
Is any of this Indian land?
No, it's all field land.
These 2 parcels on Gene Autry that is not a part of this, how are they zoned?
This is the
Son.
newspaper.
Okay.
This is what used to be Bird Corporation with Federal Express in the front. I think this part of it's developed. There's a little piece over here that isn't. And then these 2 pieces are not. These are vacant land that are zoned either office or industrial, but zoned commercial. We actually talked about trying to buy them, but the guy has a very high idea of what they're worth.
Of course.
There are a couple of other things that we're doing. We're looking at, there's a little sliver on this corner that someone owns that is right in front of some houses here. We'll probably be talking about trying to get some control over that to turn this kind of whole part of the street up here, since this is a very important, both to the city and to ourselves, that this corner would be a very nice corner. We'd love to do something with beautify the other side of the street here. We talked to the landowner that's over here about working something out that we could do some landscaping or something over there. So I know some concern of the council people in the city is they want to see an upgrade to this corner, and we'd like to see that happen too. Yes.
Not going to be a question, more of a comment. I drive by that wash area. It's a very ugly area dividing the 2 cities. Anything to improve the appearance and also the dust levels that are related to it. This could bring on a very nice close-in linkage between the 2 cities and a beautification project like Cimarron was to me.
Yeah.
In making better use of the wash area. It's a very ugly, disappointing area as it stands right now.
We agree with you, and we think it's potentially could be it could be beautiful. And there's some issues out here that, actually out here, some of the wash is actually Indian owned, and so there's some issues to work through with CBWD, but we're working on doing that, and hopefully that will get done.
Okay, I just have one question. Do you have a sense of what your time frame is?
Yes, we are doing the work.
I don't want you to be moving on it.
We are doing the working drawings for the golf course now. We hope to be approved by the city. I'll cross my fingers and say June. And if that happens, it's our hope to start construction so that we can plant the golf course next June.
Great.
So that,
I played the course in San Diego. It's a fantastic design.
So the name is certainly.
I'm glad that every time I go down, I look at it and I cross my fingers that we'll get one as nice.
Tell us your score. Tell us your score.
87.
How about you do on the back? How about 18?
How about the other 9 holes?
Thank you, Dan.
That was good, Dan.
If you have no more comments, we will move on. If you
Okay.
have any questions of us, feel free to ask us or ask Barry and he can get to us.
I appreciate that, and Barry's been very helpful, and we appreciate the guidance that he's given us.
Great. Okay.
Good.
Now, one comment, not to them, but I assume that this project falls under the airport influence area we talked about at our last meeting.
Actually, it would be outside of that, because of that contour is
That contour is right
primarily
up
on
the
the
road.
north end. But they're still gonna sign the navigation easements.
Well, it just makes good sense, good business sense. All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys taking the time to go over it.
many goals you lose on that?
And that special green screen thing is on for commission members.
Nice guy like you in a place like this, Mark.
I remember that. Thank you, Doug. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Chuck.
I need to talk to you before. All right, Mr. Smoot, now.
Go back to number one.
Yes, please.
Barry has a report for you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, many of you have seen this request before. This is our third attempt at this. Again, we are hoping to get in the federal appropriation cycle for 2004 for a transponder landing system. And we're excited about this. We think that it will be an improvement. It's a precision tracking system which will allow aircraft to have similar fixed base approaches as an ILS system provides without having an ILS system. Many of you are probably more familiar with how this works than I am. I think Commissioner Duncan has actually visited or talked to the manufacturer directly, and he may want to chime in here in a moment. We've sent letters out to our state senators and to our congresswoman requesting that they support this. And it appears that there's a good opportunity that it may happen this time. This particular system is in place in several different locations. In fact, you can visit the website of the manufacturer. They're known as Advanced Navigation and Positioning Corporation, or ANPC, or ANPC.com, and find out even more information that I gave you in the handout. I'm not an expert in this, so I will attempt to take your questions regarding this type of system. We do feel that it will be a benefit to us. However, there's still some issues to be worked out in terms of the total cost of the operation and maintenance of the system, and actually who will actually be operating the system in the future. However, to let you know, this particular system continues to advance, and it may be that it will become fully automated by the time it actually gets fully commissioned by the FAA. That's our hope. If you have any particular questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Barry, let me just backtrack for commission members who aren't pilots particularly. We are unqualifiable for an ILS here. That's straight-in ILS, requires the mountains in the way. So we cannot have an ILS, an instrument landing system. In other words, it's a precision way to get to the ground, and it's great if there's not a mountain in the way. So we have always had to have a situation where we have a dogleg approach of some kind. This is a solution to that. I'm sure someday there will be a GPS system that will probably outweigh this, but that's still in the future and has never been authorized by the FAA. So I just wanted to say that, you know, people say, oh, why don't you have an ILS? Well, we can't. John went to a meeting with these guys.
The system has been working for 5 years at Cuby Point in the Philippines. FedEx put it in themselves and pays for it. It's worked right through the monsoon season every year. It is a dogleg approach into Cuby also, and FedEx loves it. It does not require anything additional to the aircraft. If the aircraft is IFR capable, it's capable of flying this approach. You mentioned who will operate it. It will, until it goes automated, it will take one air control personnel at least devoting some time to it, because it requires a communication with a pilot. But other than that, in the cockpit display, the display is essentially an ILS display. You fly the needles down, and it is very precise. It approaches the same precision as a GPS system.
John, does that display go right up on your, right up on your same frequency ILS radios?
No, it's a different frequency.
But what I'm saying is you have to get special equipment in the aircraft. So in other words, we just show up with your basic, right out of the box, whatever system, and it'll go right off the transponder.
And you tune to a frequency that shows the range of the ILS.
Yeah, correct. How about lock-ons? Is it a lock-on type system? I'm familiar with that because flying in the military, we had automatic carrier landing systems which use a transponder lock-on system.
Yeah, it's not quite like that, but the tower operator makes sure that you are the target that is being tracked by this system. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he is certain that you are the target, then it really essentially goes automated after that. That's the only place where the air controller gets involved. Is you contact him. He ascertains that the target that the transponder is tracking is you. Then he just goes automatic.
The signals provided by the system up to your radio give you the ILS display. Correct. So dog legging and all that.
Larry?
Well, do we have any information on, say, how many days out of the year minimums are below the VOR approaches that are off the terminal? Is this something?
It's not so much that we're below minimums, because we have days when the visibility is poor, and flying in here, it all looks brown. And I just think it adds a tremendous margin of safety on even average days where it's just kind of hazy and everything else. Well, especially where you have a new crew that's not used to coming in here.
It gives you great glide slope information.
It gets you to the runway. It would be wonderful just from a safety point of view, not because we have a below minimums issue. I think we have 3 days a year, 6 days a year below minimums, of which we'd probably wipe out 1 or 2. But it's the safety issue of having a precision approach. Any of you who fly big airplanes, it's just a better world, safer world. Thank you. Ken?
If successful in obtaining the funding, PACES surveys, equipment installation, what else will it cost the airport to?
The first 2 years, they operate it and maintain it.
Including the people?
Actually, no, the people are not included. They will train the people to operate it. That's part of the issue, is who will actually provide this service. The FAA has not committed to that yet, and they do not have a fully commissioned system yet, other than I think the one in the Philippines that they're actually using. They have one in Atlantic City, New Jersey, that they're hoping to commission soon. So those are still some of the issues that have to be worked out, and the cost of those issues. So if we do, we don't have to accept this, but we do have our request in for the appropriation, hopefully get this as a safety navigational aid, as was said, and then as the technology advances, we think that eventually that'll be fully automated.
What part of our budget will the people come out of if we have to pay for it?
We haven't defined that yet.
It's just an informational thing. It's important that you're aware of that because it may happen, and we think it's probably a good thing. Any other questions? Robert?
Chuck, it seemed to me that a couple of years ago we had the same discussion and wrote a letter to Mary Boland and support her request at that time, which I guess didn't make the cut.
It's one of those things that you just hope for, and you know, when somebody rolls the dice just right, and then you're there. The people that we talked to, or John talked to a lot more than I did, felt that they had the right system. They were trying to convince another SkyWest, for instance, to operate it in Sun Valley, and I think that's what's going to happen. SkyWest said they really wanted to try it. I think they want to use it here too.
135 or 121 operators do operate it at various locations.
Yeah. And they're comfortable.
The hope is that the FAA
will take the big op.
Well, when you say they operated, are they doing it in-house operations?
Yeah, they're actually calling up to SkyWest. The SkyWest guy looks at it, says, "That's you." Bing, lock on. You're on your way.
Now, but does it meet the federal?
It does.
Is it like a GPS backup, or are you running like a VOR backup on the approach so that you keep it legal?
I don't think so.
So you can shoot into weather on this thing, and the FAA just says, okay, it's
I know these things. The plates become the minimums go way down when you put this in.
So we can get legal plates and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the it's all that part's all cool. Tom, you wanted to say something?
No, sir. Already been answered.
Okay, great. Any other questions? If not, we'll be moving on. Go ahead. We generally don't take questions for the. I recognize you, sure.
Steve Barrera from Federal Aviation.
Yes.
We have a lot of questions with this coming up, and I think probably most of them won't be able to be answered. Of course, it's going to be with training of personnel, which I guess is going to be a point
A major issue,
letter. But my big concern also would be, I see here from the operation of talking to the operator, and then next it says talking to the control tower. I assume the operator is going to have to link to the control tower, so it's going to take some interaction with them.
Yeah.
Also, the amount of equipment that would be in the TRACON or the control tower, interconnections between our radar, our beacons, periodicity of maintenance and that. So I think these are all going to be things that are answered later, but if you have anything on those points now.
I don't know, they have sent him a large package with a lot of stuff in it. And when you get your new tower, you'll have room for all that, right?
When are you building that?
Yeah, why not?
I don't have answers to all those. Those are all part of the discussion that needs to take place if we do get the funding for this.
Well, the point is, it looks promising, and we want to endorse it at this point.
If it's practical and it looks like it's going to work, then I think we have something to work with here, and we'll try and make the pieces fit together. If they don't, then they don't, but I think it's everybody's best interest to try and do that.
Yeah, we're obviously, though, we're with government office, we're almost half-staffed of what we used to be.
Yeah.
No relief from science, so anything new coming in.
Well, we could all volunteer to take a day out. Oh, yeah. Punch the button. All right.
Speak for yourself.
Thank you. Helen, you'd love it.
Is there a motion in order?
No, I don't believe so. It's an action, the action is that we've been briefed on it. Any other, okay, roadway security reconfiguration. Mr. Smoot?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to combine this with basically the first update, so we can talk about this all together, and I'll do the update first, and that is, as we talked last time, the bids came in on the project. They're behind me on the wall. We had a pre-bid estimate of $8.1 million for this project. The low bidder was Jaeger at 7.7. You can see the rest of the bids from there. We had a fourth party participate this time called Griffith out of Los Angeles, and they actually came in second low. And in any event, as per your existing standing program with us, if the project comes in within the estimate, we go right to council, which we have done. It's been awarded, and we anticipate that with any kind of luck, that this project will start around the 10th. And go great guns and be finished by Thanksgiving, if not sooner than that. So the project the contracts are out for signature right now. We have a pre-construction meeting on Friday with the FAA in attendance to start through the processes of it, and so things should get rolling rather quickly. This is a major change to what will be happening at the airport, and so we are in the midst of a rather large rollout of the project publicly so people know what's going on. If you came in the roadway this morning, you should have seen a couple of signs that are out there that tell people that there's a project coming, and then mid-April we'll be closing the roadway. We have an infomercial that will be running on Channel 17 that Mike shot last week with some help with the people across the street. It talks about the project and actually takes you out on the roadway and shows you where it is and so on and so forth. We've done a couple of briefings already with 2 of the TV stations. We've talked to both the newspapers. We've provided them with copies of the schematic drawings of it so they can put it in the paper if they wish. We are in the process of putting out notices to all the users of the airport, and here's a little map that I'll pass around to you that shows you that when this thing starts around the 10th, we will close the Mid-Valley Parkway completely. And that means that the Ramon entrance, it will close. That means that the El Cielo entrance, it will close. The only way you'll be able to get into there will be through the connection by Fatburger off of Ramon Road, and that entrance will be signed for employees and cargo deliveries only. You can see from this drawing that that's how people will snake their way into the gate to where they can get into the employee parking lot and to the airfield side for cargo deliveries. The rest of the site will be shut off. We're providing this to all our tenants. We're asking all our tenants who have regular cargo deliveries to get this to their delivery companies, and we assume there'll be lots of confusion the first few days, but after people find their way out here, they will make their way through the process and be fine. It is a huge project for us, an important project for us. We're looking forward to getting it started quickly. There are lots and lots of pieces of it. Probably the most complicated project we've done next to the terminal expansion building as far as different types of trades and activities going on at the same time. So there will be lots of it, and we will keep you updated as we go.
Al, Highway Patrol this morning at 7 o'clock said the access road was closed then. How and why did they get that?
Well, I can't answer either of those questions because we did not give it to them.
Okay, it didn't come from here.
No.
At 7:45, as I circled the city, they rescinded the.
Yeah, no, we have sent them information that it will be being closed. Maybe they misread it. And we don't anticipate that we'll get a lot of information or coverage on it until it actually closes. There'll be lots of questions. Yes.
Alan, this project was primarily put together for security reasons?
That is correct.
Okay.
And it appears that it's a very efficient security program. Having looked around and seen what other airports are talking about doing it, this is a A1 project.
Yes, it will hopefully be setting the standard for other folks to follow.
It's amazing. With some of these airports, they got 6 places and they're going to merge and then they're going to separate.
Yes.
Just a comment, Al, I'm impressed with how tight the bids are and how close they are to the estimate, as you probably were too.
Yes. I would have liked it to be a little lower, but.
Well, that's true, but, you know, roughly speaking, there's only a spread of 10% between the high and the low bid. And that sort of speaks to the completeness of the plans and the specifications, I think, so.
It was lots of work, and it is a huge set of drawings, and lots of last-minute coordination with our engineers and other people, so it is a good document. Hopefully we'll have no problems working through it.
Are you comfortable the Jaeger can do it on time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have pretty good reputation.
Yeah, I mean, they're hitting the ground running. They will be on the site on the 10th, starting whatever work they can get started. Whether or not they close the roadways that day, I don't know yet. They got to get that coordinated with engineering yet.
Yes, Robert?
2 comments. One, to show how you can't get there from here. How do you get there from here? Go down LCA and come in those main entrance there by the fountain?
Yeah, this is designed for our employees to tell them how to get to where they have to go, not for the public to tell them how to get to the airport.
Where do I go to get to next month's meeting? Don't tell me where to go, I mean, just show me.
Come to my house and I'll drive you over.
The other thing I noticed this morning, you're right, there is a sign up there. It's a beautiful white sign with pale blue letters and about 10 lines of text. Buried in there is the information that your public's going to be concerned about. There's got to be better signage to tell them that in big letters that you can't get there from here starting whatever day it is.
There will be signage once the road gets closed that says that. Yes, it got a little wordy. We tried to provide as much information as we could, and.
Just put a stop sign there.
Right.
The basic way is going to be in through LCL, right?
Pardon me?
The entrance to the airport will be LCL during this.
LCL on top.
Any other questions, Michael?
Yeah, just in closing, I know there's gonna be a lot of fussing about the westbound access, or I'm sorry, the eastbound access along the Roper Parkway over to LCLO. So that's gone now, I mean, once we're done.
Once we close the road, it'll be it.
And so when they fuss and say, hey, why did you move the CNG plant and over and all that kind of stuff, the answer is, it's our airport property, we can do security right.
Well, the answer is for another 20 million, you could put overpass in there if you wanted to. And we don't got 20 million.
Right.
And the answer too is that we tried.
Right.
We tried to redesign this thing at least 6 different times to find a way to get there. There is a way to do it, but it would negatively impact the airport, and our job is not to negatively impact the airport.
Any other questions?
Question, I noticed on the schematic here, it shows that it's curving right in front of the terminal building, whereas this up here looks like it goes straight. Did we change that?
Well,
That's phase 2.
that's phase 3. That is something that will be designed in the future. It's just on that drawing, when that one was put out, we had already laid it out in there, but it's not part of this first project.
How is that coming on?
We're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
All right, that's item 6, that's on that, sorry. All right,
So that's,
any other about the runway reconfiguration? Because there is going to be some, I don't know, backlash on it, just a lot of comment about it, so you need to be aware of it, because you're gonna hear about it. And you need to understand that this is, you know, an important project, and we're doing it right, and the best thing for this airport. And our job is to provide security, to make it happen, for these guys to be able to make it happen. And that's our number one job here. So if we have to, you know, funnel everybody through a single tent, then that's what we do.
Chuck, not only did the staff and the engineers all do a lot of work, but for the new people, let's remember that the commission did a lot of work on it.
Absolutely.
Met numerous times.
Yeah, and input that made a big difference, actually, in a couple cases on how we got laid out.
Right.
Thank you, Phil. All right.
One more.
All right.
Coming around, when you're gonna go into the parking lot on the southeast corner, am I reading this right in saying you have to go through some kind of security over there? Up here, on this leg to come in for the southeast corner? So this is securities, but I can come into the parking lot over here without going through security?
Well, there will be a size restrictor at that point, and only certain size vehicles will be able to go into the parking lot at that point.
Okay, but if I drive my car in here, I go in here without
Right in there.
security, but if I come around this way, I have to go through security.
That's correct. You have to go through an inspection, and the inspection is designed for certain size vehicles at a certain level of security. If security were to go to the top, highest level, you probably would not be able to get into the parking lot without going all the way around and getting into the inspection.
Or we could put an inspector at that entrance.
They just
No,
show
we
up.
would not put inspectors. One of the reasons for doing this is to try to get ourselves isolated in one spot. So it takes a lot of people to inspect things. A lot more than we have.
Any other questions? Next item.
The next item is that issue of the central lobby, the checkpoint, the expansion of the roadway, straightening the roadway out in front of the building. We hope to, on your next meeting, have a long discussion with you about the findings of the supplemental blast analysis that we have done on the front of the terminal building, which talks about the need to push the front of the terminal building out. It helps us from a blast protection point of view, and we'll go into the details of that next time when we have all the specifics for you. But at the same time, another issue that is coming up is the issue of the security checkpoint. It is a different configuration than it was before. It currently has 2 lanes going through it. Our activity has picked up this last month to a point to where we are having problems getting people through there. And we're doing everything we can to do that. And one of the things that we are looking at, which we will accomplish somehow this summer, is we will get a 3rd lane in there so that we can get passengers through more quickly, as if Tom can get more employees to do it. We'll figure out something. The way we will probably do it is that nice stone wall that separates the entrance from the exit down there is probably going to disappear. And we will put in some type of a separation between entrance and exit. That will not be a permanent solution, so we just need to let you know that going in as part of whatever we do in the expanded lobby. Part of that design will be a way of finding a way to make the checkpoint substantially bigger than it is. So, but we think it's our responsibility by next fall to get that checkpoint expanded so we don't continue to have people have to stand in a long line to get through that. So we wanted to let you know that we are working on that. The next item has to do with the expansion of our building in order to accommodate an explosive detection system that's not in the lobby. We have been working closely with Tom and his crew and have relocated a lot of the equipment out of the lobby. We're not, TSA is operating a drop and go system with Alaska Airlines to where their luggage is now going down through the curbside bag belt after it's checked by TSA. They're not in the middle of the lobby anymore. American Airlines is behind the counter now in the back of house where they're doing a similar situation, and we're continuing to try to get that out there. Our emphasis will be this summer to expand the outbound baggage handling area out behind the building so that we can replace that outbound baggage handling area that we currently have, enclose the existing one, and allow all of the EDS equipment and personnel to be out back. We're working through that. With the help of Tom, we're going to have a visitation here in the next few days from some top TSA folks that control equipment and try to convince them that we need to receive some of it. And so we're working ahead with that process again, with the thought of being, we need to have this changed by next fall. When the season starts up again, we want to have the lobby cleared of EDS activities so that it's much more open as it used to be in the past.
And the design is set, you're designing it so that not only can you do the manual, but eventually put the equipment in there. That is correct.
And this will probably be another interim plan, but one that will last a lot longer than the existing interim one. So we're working through that. The next item is Tom's offices. We are in the process of trying to get GSA to approve the plans right now. Become a real adventure, but we're working on it. We're continuing to push it hard. The good news is hopefully the plans are basically done as long as there's not major changes required. The bad news is we don't get this thing out on the street for bid by the 1st of May, we may not be able to do the project this year. So we have a lot of work to do on that, and we're continuing.
And the reason for that is timing and just
we would be building in the middle of the season, right where the aircraft have to be, and we just can't do that. I mean, this project has to be timed for a summer construction period to be in a slow time. So we're working on that.
Commission members might not be aware that that is underneath the terminal.
Yes.
About half of it, I guess, will be coming to offices. Plus Tom will have his way up high. Good view. No, I'm kidding. But that's under the terminal as the new terminals exist. That's why it's obviously a problem in the one.
I'd like Mike to talk to you about the next two, and then I'll kind of say something about them after he's done with them. So Mike, jump in.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As most of you know, March 19th was the day the airport conducted its latest triennial full-scale exercise. We are required by the FAA to conduct a full-scale exercise of the emergency plan at least once every 3 years. Just knowing how we all like to do things a little different and a little off the beaten path around here, we did that with this exercise. We participated with Riverside County as well as all the cities throughout the Coachella Valley in an earthquake type scenario. Many of you may have heard about it in your own cities. They had a lot of participation from homeowners associations, hospitals, those types of things. So that was very different, not only from a planning stage, but from the response stage. There wasn't, in a certain sense, a item you go take care of. A simulated fire, you go put it out, you go on and fly. Barry can comment a little bit more on some of the response issues, but we did throw some curveballs at them. We had some key staff members who were not available. Alan got crushed by the rubble in his office, and miraculous recovery too. And I was not available since I was planning the exercise. We had a couple other people that we took out of the mix right at the last minute. We simulated a lot of damage to the terminal facility as well as with the airfield, runways, fences, outlying facilities. The aftershock we had at 11:20, which was 20 minutes before we, or 11:40, excuse me, before we terminated the exercise, the radar tower fell over. And so I think we challenged them, but it was a success. Got a lot of good positive feedback from it. The evaluators we had from Ontario and Delta Airlines Corporate both had a lot of really good positive things to say about the participants and learned a lot. I think there was a good exchange of information. The FAA was very happy and very impressed. I was their babysitter for that time, kept them busy, took them around. They saw lots of interaction. There was a lot of interaction not only here, but going across the street to the City Hall Emergency Operations Center and then going down to India. So Again, we're pleased. Haven't yet got the letter from the FAA that says they approved it, but we're anticipating that to show up. And I didn't know if you wanted to add anything from a response standpoint, Barry, or?
No, I was actually hoping to get crushed into rubble too. It was fun up until the radar tower crumbled. But it was a very good learning experience for all our staff.
Good. Well, that's really what it's about, you know, and that's good.
Yeah, we were pleased, and I was happy with the way it turned out. Didn't go the way all of us on the planning side thought it would, but that's not uncommon. Things go a different path. And the other item, again, just because we're special, the FAA and Caltrans were also here to do the annual certification inspection of the airport at the same time. So that week was a real crusher for staff. But they were happy with the exercise. The following day we went in to look at all the airfield conditions, the fire department, you know, they go talk to the tower manager. We just went through the whole plethora of things that we did, and by Friday about noon we had finished up. There's a couple minor things that they recommended to us, some marking issues on the airfield which we're in the process of correcting, and just some paperwork, administrative type issues with records and training, things like that. So again, we got a clean stamp of approval. We were, again, used as a test case. The FAA has hired a new inspector to work out of their San Francisco district office, and so she came down here as her first field trip to visit an airport because they wanted her to see an airport and how it's supposed to be done right. So we were most happy to help the FAA with those things. Happy to have any questions.
I just want to chime in and thank Mike in particular who led both of these efforts, and Barry for his leadership in the disaster drill. You know, we get a lot of press on a lot of other things that happen at the airport. We don't get press on probably some of the most important things we do, and these are two of them. Because all the other good things we do couldn't happen unless these two things happen. If we don't keep our certification, we don't fly. If we don't have emergency drills, we don't keep our certification. We can't provide the kind of facilities that we provide for all the new folks who want to come and visit us without going through these processes. So these processes are very important, and I know you appreciate that fact. The news media and other people on the outside don't really recognize that, but if we don't perform these functions, we're in deep doo-doo, and I'm really proud of the staff. They've done a good job. We've always done a good job on this. And I have done 7 of these, that's why I decided to be crushed in the rubble. The next item we have, unless there's any questions on those
Quick
two
one,
items.
is there going to be an after-action write-up that would be available for us to peruse or any kind of thing?
It's in the process of being developed. I think we'll make that available for your next meeting.
Great.
Next item?
Yes, Richard has a short update for you on a couple of changes to the air service that happened this last time.
Great, Richard. Hopefully all of you saw the news releases by Delta and Horizon on the new service that they will each be providing here. Both of those were a direct result of the meetings that we had down in Indian Wells at the Pacific Life Open, where we had the airlines in for those meetings. And we're just very pleased with those meetings, and now very pleased with the announcements that we have with that. Both of those also qualify under the Air Service Incentive Program that this commission so unanimously adopted, and we are already underway with advertising with Delta and Horizon both under that program, and they're both very excited about being able to utilize that program to get this service announced, because obviously with all that's going on out there, it's quite unique that Palm Springs continues to announce new service while other airports around the nation continue to decline in service. One other thing that was going on out there was Bryant was gone all last week on the CVA's Midwest sales mission to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Columbus, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio, but that is our continued support of the Valley and filling hotel rooms and filling airplane seats, with getting over 20 different companies on that week-long trip to understand the air service that does come in here, so that their national teams can get in here for their meetings and incentive programs in this valley at the various hotels that participated. just trying to make this quick. Jumpstart, the third year of attendance for that, we're all registered for that. We'll be meeting with 9 different airlines at that meeting. So that's already done and complete. All the
What date is that?
It's in the first week of June, but the registration period was a month ago. You had to get already in there. They've already closed all the slots now for that program. And hopefully this Friday, we completed an interview with the Wall Street Journal, so hopefully there will be an article in there about air service and the increases that Palm Springs has seen, which is totally opposite of what the rest of the nation has seen in air service. It'll be pretty interesting if the Wall Street Journal actually runs the article. They're looking at running it, they just don't know whether it'll run. It'll be this Friday. And the brand strategy program that some of you met on will not be in May. It'll not be until the July meeting. They couldn't get things together. I realize that some of you had a meeting over that with Dwayne Knapp, myself, the CVA, and the chairman. And the color copies just came in yesterday, so I'll get those out to Alan and a couple of you that had requested them who've already seen it. If you haven't seen the presentation, you're not getting a color copy. You're not going to get one until you actually see it at the July meeting, but that's it.
I can speak highly for the brand program. I think it's a good program, and once we see it, you'll understand how we can really benefit from it done right.
I would like to add my comments
Sure,
too.
Helen.
He's done an excellent job as the chairman.
And while we're on air service updates and so forth, I think it's very important, the fact that, in fact, our service has increased. Partly, I watch the loads on Continental because I can get into the system, and the deterioration has been minimal, surprisingly. I think it's because it's a destination, people are pre-buy their trips ahead of time. It's an amazing thing, because you can go look at Cleveland and see zip like this. I think we're very, very fortunate that we're holding up so well, and frankly, doing so well. Our numbers are good.
The numbers are very good. When I talked to the revenue and yield management people with each of the airlines about the bookings, the booking curve is definitely shortened down. Typically 90 days out, this facility here used to attract bookings probably of 50% load factors 90 days out. Now you only see about a 20% load factor 90 days out, but by the time that flight flies, we're running 70% load factors on the majority of the flights coming in here, as well as 04 looking out as far as group bookings and group business valley-wide. 04 is looking tremendously good. They've already got booking levels for this valley above where 2003 finished. So from a standpoint of looking into the future, we're looking pretty good.
On the regional jets, what do the figures they have to have in order to make money?
It varies by carrier because of cost. There's differences. American Airlines has a high cost for trying to operate some of their regional jets, but Horizon has a significantly low cost for trying to operate their jets. So it's a cost factor for them.
But it's a lot lower than a big aircraft.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Chihuly,
I hope Brian's getting extra hazard duty pay for the crew on unusual punishment of making a trip like that this time of year.
Brian's single and enjoys the job a lot. Alan.
Yeah, I just wanted to report to you that Barry coordinated with the arts people, and the last 2 Chihulys are now in place, so all 4 of them are out in the center of the terminal, and they look very nice.
Are we going to have Public Arts Commission, et cetera, are they going to have, because they had some people big dollars to that, are they going to have some
The Public Art Commission is going to approve them at their next meeting. They all came out, well, they're coming out today, actually, to all review it.
Okay.
And make sure they're happy with the installation. At this point, they're not planning any major exhibition. However, if any of you would like to go out and see it, just let us know and we'll arrange that.
They do have some donors, and I think it would be appropriate that the donors get a chance to see it, because they sure wrote big checks.
We can accommodate anybody going out there to see it.
Any other added starters? Are we down to added starters or other?
We're other added starters, whatever we want to call
Okay.
it. I did distribute to you a copy of the executive summary of the master plan and a copy of the executive summary of the economic benefits study. Most importantly, you need to know the master plan is still not adopted. We still have to go through that process, so this is not distributed as the definitive document yet. However, we assume it will be adopted in its form. And if any of you that are from one of the other cities than Palm Springs would like to have additional copies of this for the city council members or whatever, we have boxes of them, so after the meeting, swing by my office, we'll be happy to give them to you, or next time you're here, we'll be happy to give them to you whenever you'd like to do it. We have lots of them.
What's the timetable for this?
The environmental documents will start their 30-day review, I think, sometime next week. So that means they will get to the planning commission sometime towards the first week in May, I believe, and may get to council the first meeting in June. So we could be adopted
End of the month, end of June.
and by the end of the fiscal year, hopefully.
Great, that'd be great. Any others? As starter, Barry? I'd like to give Tom a moment here, because you know, I want you to participate and you know, you're part of this. So do you have anything you want to say besides hello?
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I would like to reinforce the point that you recognized, that this, the project for the vehicle search facility really is going to be a milestone and a high water mark for this type of facility in the United States. So I believe it really is an important thing, and it's a way for us to lead as we do in a lot of ways here. So kudos to the airport and to the commission for taking responsibility to accept a leadership position with regard to this. So,
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. All right, Commissioner requested reports. Okay, city council actions, that's the yellow page. If there's no question, we'll put them in the minutes. Correspondence. Did anybody write this?
Nobody loved this.
Oh, she sent bills.
May I ask you?
Yes, Helen, certainly.
Does Mary Bono get a copy of this?
Oh, I'm sure.
It will be mailed out to lots of folks.
Barry, are we at the point I can take this to the cabinet meeting next week? Or should I hold off? I think we're
The
close enough.
economic benefit study, yes, I wouldn't take your master plan because we don't want to.
We don't want to push it, yeah, okay, just wondered. Yes, Robert?
I'd like to thank Al for the annual report. Came out in a hurry.
Now that you're the vice chair.
Well, I want to strike one of the back wages I didn't get.
I would too.
Sorry, John.
Next year, we'll try to actually remember that we're supposed to do that along with the entire rest of the city, who did the same exact thing.
Obviously, with a big family.
Yeah.
Planning